Hello everybody, this is Black Magix from Global Agenda. I'm currently part of the Vortex agency, available at clanvortex.com. Now this is a little bit of an explanation on PvP as robotics. Now you notice I just laid down the beacon and immediately threw up an eye drone when the beacon was at low health. The reason why is because stealth recons actually have a bad habit of taking this out. So the eyeball actually does detect stealth recons and shoots at them. Now, I always pick up the beacon at the very beginning just because a robotics class can actually deploy it very quickly and get reinforcements where it's needed. Now I'm going to throw up a hornet drone real quick just to get some damage out and see where enemies are while I set up this turret. Now this turret isn't really a direct turret over facing the payload in this map. It's actually more of an intermediary between the two. The reason why I've done this is because to allow damage to reinforcements from the enemy coming in. As we just destroyed their beacon, which is on the far side of the map here, reinforcements are going to have to come in direct from their base to be able to reinforce their teammates. This actually does allow for me to deal some damage to them otherwise. As you see, my turret's already found a few targets and is shooting at them, and the range on the turret is really good. I prefer the rocket turret just because it does a lot of damage and a lot of AoE damage to all targets. Now unfortunately, a stealth recon sniper has actually found my turret and is shooting it, which I'm not paying attention to, so I'm going to run over here and harass this assault. Once I realize my turret's been destroyed and the beacon's being hit on, I'm going to have to move it. One thing I always try to do, especially as a robotics class, is move the beacon whenever it's under attack or whenever I feel we need to push forward. Since I'm a robotics, I can typically deploy it and get reinforcements out with only losing 1 or 2 deaths, maybe more, from our teammates. Now that I've healed the beacon back up to full health, I want to go and inspect the map just a little bit to see where enemies are typically concentrated. As I don't see any around and many aren't available, I'm going to go and set my turret up right here. Now this is a very exposed position, but at the same time it allows for a wide range of coverage too. As you can see, my turret's already found somebody and I'm already racking up kills. Now this robotics actually is very clever. First thing he does when he lands is set up a hornet drone, and it immediately starts attacking my turret. Luckily I got a boost up and was able to save my turret away from the robotics. As I get reinforced from my teammates, the robotics runs away, but not before my hornet defeats his eye drone. Here I'm checking on the beacon, making sure everything's okay, and then returning back to my turret. I'm always trying to keep a constant beam of heals up, just to make sure my turret's dealing maximum damage. As you heal your turret, it will actually increase the damage done to it. Now for robotics, turret placement is everything. You want to give it a wide range of coverage while not allowing it to have too much, not allowing it to take too much damage from wherever you are. Now this personal turret my other fellow robotics just set up, I do not understand why it is there. It's not in range of anything. Now here I'm taking too much damage, so I'm going to try and levitate behind this medical station and get my health back. Here I realize that the payload isn't moving fast enough as it should be, so I'm going to readjust my turret a little bit to see if I can't give some help to my teammates. This is a very ample position because as long-range snipers can't really attack the turret too well from the sides, but it still offers a great opportunity on the opening of this tunnel. I also dropped a hornet drone just for some AoE damage and some spread there. As I'm not taking too much damage and my turret's being ignored and I notice I don't have full health, I'm going to go ahead and hit my rest button and get my health back up to full. As I've done this, I don't have to really worry about healing my turret as it's not taking damage, so I'm not too worried about my energy loss due to it. As I'm noticing enemies coming back here, I'm going to throw up an eye drone real quick as I'm noticing more people come. Now here I'm checking on my stats, trying to prove how effective I can be as a robotics on my team. I may not be a direct assault or on the payload itself, but I can actually do very well and actually provide a lot of damage and splash damage for my teammates to finish people off. As the payload's moving forward, once again I'm going to readjust the turret to give more position and more coverage of the payload. As the hornets found my turret, I'm going to have to constantly babysit it, trying to keep it back at full health. Luckily my turret was able to defeat the hornet drone in time before it got destroyed. A hornet drone is very effective against turrets as it does EMP damage as well as decreases the amount of resistance it has. Now here robotics does find me, catching me off guard, and this is the only death I experience in the entire game. During my death, I take the time to check a few stats, make sure I'm still on top of the team for whatever stat I need to be. My team's about to take this point, so I'm going to run over here and kill these last few stragglers on the enemy team before moving on and readjusting. As Robotics, my job is completely readjustment. Now here I'm actually going to try and take a flanking position on the enemy, as a flanking position would give me the most ample opportunity to shoot more enemies, deal more damage. Now this is a perfect opportunity for me to lay this turret here, as not many people are watching the side as they're all focused on the payload and my entire team in front of them. I get this turret up fully expecting someone to find it. Unfortunately, nobody does. Since this is an ample flanking opportunity and no one's paying attention to it, I'm going to run up and drop a drone real quick before retreating back to hope to kill my turret. As you can see, my turret is dealing massive damage to the enemy while taking little to none from it. Now, I'm constantly worried here that someone's going to come around behind me and figure it out where I am. But unfortunately, the enemy team doesn't actually realize just where the turret is and it's killing them. So I'm going to take a short break and check my kills as well as my damage just to make sure I'm still on top of the team. And my one death unfortunately did knock me off the death top, but I can easily make that up as an asset to my team. Robotics always need to be aware of what's going on around them and retreat if necessary to rebuild later. Now here I'm taking a bit of a risk by setting a turret this far in front of the payload, but the reason why I've done this is because there's a rocket turret I noticed on my way up here that's directly behind me. As that turret can cover mine, I'm not too concerned about my turret taking too much damage. Now, as I fly out this door here, I realize where all the enemy is, and actually kind of panic a bit, and accidentally fly outside the map. As I'm here, I decide to take the beacon, move forward to the payload, and realize the beacon's in a bad position, so I'm going to try and move it. Now, you never want to hold the beacon for too long, as you're denying your teammates reinforcements and vital people they need to continue the fight. So unfortunately, I accidentally flew outside the map again like a noob, so I'm going to have to move the beacon forward as I took it with me. Now once again, I want to try and move into a flanking position and get the beacon into a good position that's still hidden but in front of enemy lines. I threw up a turret a bit to harass the enemy and get them off my trail and move on. Unfortunately, an assault finds me and fires a rocket at me that hits the wall and deals a little bit of AoE damage to me. As I'm at half health and I know someone's following me, I'm going to have to take a little bit of time to run away. I drop the beacon here as the Robotics tries and finds me. The first thing he does is drop his drone. I'm going to pick up the beacon and run. Now here I really am worried about dying, as I know I have two people instead of one on me now, and I'm having to run away. This recon actually doesn't see me fly directly over her, and I'm going to run in this door and drop the beacon as soon as possible. This allows me, if I do die, my beacon is still alive and I can move on. Now I'm going to cautiously sneak my head around the door here and make sure the recon is gone before finally moving on. As I see a med station in sight, I'm going to move forward and heal. Now this is an ample opportunity for me to drop a turret right here because this is actually facing the enemy spawn point. Now this recon is actually going to beat on it just a little bit, so I'm going to drop an eye drone and retreat back and let the eye drone beat on it a little bit. As my turret was in no real danger of dying, I'm not too concerned about it. Once again, the eye drone is completely defensive. I throw it up when someone moves into my range of my turret from behind, so where my turret could beat on it. Another opportunity to do is also run the class of a turret, a drone of your choice, and a sensor array. The reason why is because the sensor array actually does provide a damage boost to your turret if and when you have it up. Typically right now I'm hitting the enemy for about 1500 on a direct hit from one rocket turret. And that would be the end of the map as we are about to take it. Thank you very much for watching and have a pleasant day. This is Black Magic's signing off.